What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Mr. Joe's Baseball Show. Back with another episode of Baseball Basics. I know it's been a minute since like a serious Baseball Basics came out, but I hope you enjoyed the Monty and Mole one, of course, for April Fools. But today, fully serious, we're talking about the lean, green, hitting machine, Luigi. This character's a very solid character in the game. He's very fun to play. A lot of people, in the community love Luigi, so we're going to be talking about him, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. But just before we get into it, I just wanted to let you guys know that I've been streaming on Twitch lately, and it's been really awesome. So if you're not following me on Twitch already, the link is in the description, twitch.tv/MrJoeMSSB. Go ahead and follow me there. Don't miss out on the streams. Mondays and Fridays are the days you can expect them. And without further ado, let's get into Luigi's batting here. Oh, and just actually before we get into batting, let's take a look above at Luigi's stats here. So, he's got a speed of 60, a throwing arm of 50. So, pretty average stats there. He's a little bit on the faster side with a pretty mediocre arm. His slap power is 48, which is a little bit below Mario's. His charge power is 59, which is a little bit below Mario's. Trajectory is mid-mid. He has two abilities since he is a captain character, being Wall Jump and Super Catch, which we will get to later. And his star hit is the Green Fireball, which recently people discovered, I'm one of the people, that Luigi Fireball is actually pretty solid. So let's go ahead and get into his batting now. So, Luigi at the plate is a pretty traditional slap hitter. You're not really going to see too much craziness out of his hits other than maybe his star hit every now and then, which we'll get to in a little bit. But as far as his slap hit goes, it's pretty run-of-the-mill. He's got a decent, nice hitbox size and a pretty long bat, so he can reach for a lot of things. But sometimes he does run into the issue of lofting the ball a bit too much, and the fielders are able to catch it. But just some tips for Luigi at the plate. You're going to want to push the ball, most likely, to left field, keeping him as a lefty. And you'll often get hits like that. That will be scooped up by some characters, which is an issue that Luigi faces sometimes, hitting the ball a little bit too far. But if you get more comfortable with his bat, you will find that you're going to get pretty consistent hits with him. Now, a problem with Luigi is, as you just saw there, I got a little bit jammed and the hit was pretty bad. He doesn't really have the luxury of being a fast enough character to reach base safely on those little dribblers, like maybe a Yoshi or Toadette character. So you are going to want to try your hardest to square the ball up nicely as you would with most other slap hitters. Now, generally, the center of his bat is where you're going to want to hit the ball. And again, there's another little dribbler. He's not going to reach safely if there's not a man on base there. Generally, right on the L is where you're going to want to hit the ball because you'll get nice hits. You'll get almost nice hits like that. Obviously, sometimes if it's not aimed properly, the third baseman will pick it up, but it's just a matter of repetition, and you'll be getting hits like that will go right in between that gap. Now, you do have the option to pull the ball with Luigi. I don't do it often, but I'll go ahead and try to show you here. But as you can see, sometimes you'll get those little low trajectory ones, and that can be more double play prone. So I would stick to trying to push the ball with Luigi. But that was actually a pretty solid hit there. So really hit it as, either way that you're comfortable. But I would recommend trying to get comfortable with the slap hit to the opposite field because it is just a little more consistent. Now, as far as Luigi's charge hit goes, you're not really going to use it. He has a pretty low charge hit stat there, as you can see. I think it's 59. Nothing really crazy. Sometimes you might get things in the gap, but you can do that with any character, and it's just far less consistent than if you do go for his slap hit. And originally people thought that Luigi's slap hit wasn't good, but honestly it is pretty solid, and it can be a pretty solid single consistently if you're comfortable with this bat. However, there is one more thing in Luigi's repertoire that I've not talked about yet, and that is his star hit. Now, Luigi's star hit is the Green Fireball, which is the green variant of Mario Fireball, obviously. And as you can see there, it doesn't go nearly as far. It actually stays in the infield as like a little dribbler. And while there is, sometimes that's a bad thing, there are some reasons to not want that. It is actually one of the best sacrifice hits in the game. Because as you can see, in a situation like that, where you hit it right down the line, it's going to hit the third baseman before they're able to back up and field it, which means that it's going to basically be a guaranteed single. Exactly like that. Now, something your fielders could do is back up till the ball burns out, but often Luigi will always be on first base, or already be on first base, rather, by the time that happens. Now, something to note about Luigi Fireball is that you're going to want to not miss the ball, like I just did there. Hold on, I just have to get out here so I can get my stars back. So something you're not going to want to do with Luigi is pull the ball with his Fireball. if you have him as a lefty like I do, because as you can see here, of course it was good the one time I'm trying to show you, but even there, I got burned and I still got thrown out at first base. So you really don't want to throw it that way, because if you do pull the ball, the second baseman is often able to just, let's see if I can get it here. They're often able to just back up a little bit and throw you out at first, but when they have to throw across the diamond, it doesn't give them as much time to back up. That was some crazy lag spiking there. So that's just generally something you're going to want to do with Luigi. You definitely want to be pushing the ball in these situations. And that's about all I have to say about Luigi's batting. You're going to want to go for their slap hits most of the time, but if you do go for the star hit, make sure you push it towards the shortstop, because you're going to get a more consistent single. And it can be used in situations where, you know, maybe there's a runner on third base and you want to score him. Even if this does get fielded, it's often too late. Like in a situation like that, it's often too late for the out at home to happen. So it's a pretty safe sacrifice, quote-unquote, bunt that you could go for. Obviously, it's going to cost 2 stars usually, but it is something that can be useful in certain situations. Sometimes you will get a case like that where it burns out very early, and to prevent that, you want to generally try to hit it on the end of the bat. And that's basically all there is for Luigi at the plate. He's a very solid singles hitter. He's got a solid star hit. And yeah, that's about it. We're going to go ahead now and talk about Luigi's fielding. Alright, so here we are in the field. As you know, the classic all-Luigi team. This time I am at the head of it. And I'm going to show off Luigi's 2 abilities, which are Wall Jump and Super Jump. So, I'm not really going to show you Luigi using Super Jump. If you don't know what it is, it basically just means that Luigi's jump is significantly higher than a character without Super Jumps would be. So that lends Luigi to be a good first and third baseman. Since on first and third base, you want a character who can jump high to catch balls hit down the line. So Luigi can play a pretty solid first or third, however that is not often where you're going to see him. You will often see Luigi in the outfield, primarily in right field, however sometimes in left field if you have another character with wall jump. But if Luigi is your one wall jump character, you're going to want to put him in right field to utilize that ability. And here I'm going to pitch against CPU Bowser and hope that he can hit home runs so I can show off some wall jumping. And he goes for a slap hit. We're going to be here for a while. Well, here's an example of Super Jump. You can use it to catch fly balls like that, and you'll never bobble if you jump while trying to catch a ball. That's with or without Super Jump, but I figured I'd show it to you there. Alright, and another catch being made with Super Jump. I guess I am going to show it off to you guys. You can see there that it can help rob home runs, but really wall jump is what you're going to want to be going for. And here's a good example of wall jumps. You're going to want to dash towards the wall and double tap A. If you get that cutscene like that, it does mean that the wall jump was triggered. However, that home run, since it was perfect contact, was way too high. But you will see here in the replay, Luigi, maybe. Alright, you won't see it. You can hear Luigi go, oh yeah, that means that he did the wall jump. The input is essentially running towards the wall, and then you press A. I press it twice personally, and I find that to be most consistent. But, you know, if you press A, then generally you will get the wall jump. And it can be used to rob home runs that are lower down. Since that was a perfect contact home run from Bowser, it's not going to be wall jumpable. But we'll try to get you something that I am able to wall jump so I could show it off in action. So that is an example of wall jump being used where you can see it. Again, that's too high of a home run. That's still going to happen sometimes, especially with Bowser. But on the lower trajectory home runs, that jump would have been able to catch it. Luigi, something to note about his wall jump is that it goes higher. That was not catchable. It goes higher than the actual hitbox looks. Like, the animation is higher than his hitbox is. And we believe that's because since he has Super Jump, it makes his wall jump appear higher, while it is actually not as high as it might seem. So, yeah, wall jump's not going to save every home run that's hit in a game, but it can definitely save a handful of them, and even saving, you know, 1 or maybe even 2 home runs in a game is absolutely massive, because that's 2 home runs that would have scored without a character with wall jump. You know, that's a minimum of 2 runs being saved if you wall jump twice. So it's an invaluable ability, and practicing wall jumps, while it is a little hard to, like, get a consistent practice regimen down, since obviously, as you can see, the computer sometimes just doesn't want to hit home runs. Things like that will allow you to wall jump. You could try using save states if you're using Dolphin Emulator, and that's generally a way to practice wall jump. So yeah, Luigi, an all-star right fielder. He's a great left fielder too, although not as many characters are going to hit the ball to left field, so that's why it's not as relevant. But he could also play a first or third base if maybe you have Mario in the outfield already and you're not worried about using Luigi as your wall jumper. So that's about all there is to say about Luigi's fielding. Technically, he can pitch like a little bit, but you really don't want to pitch with Luigi. And you don't want to put him on shortstop or second base because he doesn't have a good dive, so that's kind of a waste there. So again, your ideal positions for Luigi are the corner bases and the corner outfield, so putting Luigi in any of those positions are going to be ideal, and you will have good success with the character no matter what you do there. Again, I will say that right field is his best position. Now, finally, we're going to move on to Luigi's chemistry. Okay, so here we are with a look at Luigi's chemistry chart. Now, at a glance, it may not look super strong, and you would be correct about that. Luigi's chemistry is not that great. Now, it isn't super important for Luigi to have strong chemistry links because, one, he often won't be your captain, and two, he's not a power hitter, so he's not going to really benefit from this chemistry. But let's take a look anyway. His top chemistry links, the ones that he will get the chemistry boosts from in the field and at the plate, are Mario, Daisy, and Peach. Daisy and Peach aren't really characters you're going to see too often, especially Peach. So really, Mario is the only relevant one here. Now, Mario is a great character. Him and Luigi are around the same place in the tier list. They both break that top 15 area, so they're both solid characters, and maybe having Luigi first base, Mario right field, gives you the chemistry link from right to first, so you could maybe steal an out, maybe, in a game. But it's not super relevant. And obviously, since Luigi is not often going to be a captain, the rest of his chemistry tree isn't too important until you get to the bottom, but we will go over it anyway. He has high chemistry with the babies, Pianta, Yoshi. So Pianta and Yoshi being good characters there. Toadette, Toad, Noki, Toadsworth. These are all characters you might see in games, especially Toadsworth. And then Monty Mole, which is a weird one. I didn't know Luigi and Monty were friends, but who knew? Now, his mid-tier chemistry is a bunch of good characters in Koopa, as you can see there, Paratroopa, Birdo, Dixie, Diddy, and Madge. And then his low chemistry is a mix of some of the best characters in the game and some of the worst. You've got Goomba and Paragoomba, but then you've got Bro and DK and Petey and Bowser, so really weird spread for Luigi there. Not super relevant again, since he won't often be a captain. He's probably going to take away from your team stars more often than not, but it's not that big of a deal. But his anti-chemistry actually is pretty relevant because it's with King Boo, Waluigi, and Boo. Now, these are all great characters. These are all characters you're going to see every game. Maybe Waluigi misses a game here and there, but he really shouldn't. So these are characters that, like, you're definitely going to see them. And Waluigi and King Boo play the corner bases. And with Luigi playing the corner outfield, you might actually see that chemistry link come up sometimes in a relevant spot. Maybe not all the time, but it could come up from time to time. So something to keep an eye on there is where you put King Boo, especially if you want to do Luigi on a corner base. You don't want to have King Boo on like third to Luigi on first, because you will get that anti-chemistry on a throw, and you'll miss out in an out from it, most likely. So that's something to keep in mind. With Boo, it's not as important since he's mostly a pitcher, but it is definitely still relevant. So definitely keep a note of where you're putting Luigi in your field if you have Waluigi, King Boo, and Boo on your team. You don't want them in positions where they're going to be throwing to each other very often, because you want to reduce your chances of activating anti-chemistry. That's all I have to say about Luigi. This character is very fun to play. He's very goofy. A lot of people love him, so I'm glad I finally made a video on him. Again, just a refresher, you want to put him in the corner bases or the corner outfield. His star hit is a good sacrifice bunt, but otherwise you're going to want to be going for the slap hit. And, of course, he's just a funny guy. You know, he's a really funny guy. You love playing Luigi. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to sub if you're not subbed already, because we're getting close to 2,500 subs, and that's really cool. So the path to 5K has begun. So definitely sub if you're not already. That's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Again, I'm telling you to subscribe again. I'll get you guys next time with another Baseball Basics next week and another VOD review. Have a wonderful day.